will talk about how to create a simple formula of lists that only have one type of operation. But sometimes you'll have to create a more complex formula that has more than one type of operation. For example, addition and multiplication. To, to do this, you'll need to understand how Excel is calculating the answer. Excel uses a set of rules called the order of operation, which you might remember from math class. The order of operation determines which part of the formula to calculate first. The very first thing that you calculate is the item and parentheses. Then, if you have any exponent, you have to calculate those. Next, multiplication and division. And lastly, addition and subtraction.
Excel knows to use the order of operation whenever to calculate a complex formula, and it is important that you remember it so you create a formula that you'll give a correct answer. To remember the order, you can just use the acronym PEMDAS, or to make it even easier, just remember the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Let's go over each of these and a little more details. In this formula, 5 plus 2 is in the parentheses, so we calculate that first to get 7, and then we just multiply 3 times 7 to get 21. This formula contains an exponent 3 to the power of 2, and we need to calculate that first before doing the addition. If you have multiplication or division, that would come next. Here, we multiply 2 times 4 to get 8. And 9 minus 8 equals 1. Now, multiplication and division are considered to be at same level. That means if you have both of them in your formula, you'll calculate from left to right. In this example, would do the division first and then multiplication. If you wanted the multiplication to happen first, we could just put in parentheses, or we can rearrange the formula, which multiplication was on the left. Finally, we have addition and subtraction. Like multiplication and division, these on the same level, so we calculate them from left to right. Okay, now let's put them all together. This formula may look really complicated, but we're just going step by step through the order of operation, and you'll see it's not just bad. We'll start with the parentheses. We calculated each of these to get 2 and 3, and you can see at the formula that they're starting to look a little bit simpler. Next, we look if there's any exponent in this formula, and there is one, 2 to the second power, and if we calculated it becomes 4. Next, we'll do the multiplication and division going from left to right. And now, all is left is addition, and it's give an answer 8.75. And that's the same answer that Excel would give you if you enter that formula. It is important to keep this rule in mind when you're creating a formula. In this example, I like to add this 3 value and find out how the tax would be, and let's say that the tax is 5.5%. I'll start typing the equal sign, which how will you always start all the formula. And now, add D4 plus D5 plus D6, and then I will multiply it by 0.055, which is 0.055%. Now, is this formula going to give us correct result? No, it's not. Multiplication comes before addition, so Excel will multiply D6 times 0.055, and then it would add D4 and D5. And that's not actually what we want to happen. We want these three values to be added first, and we can do that by putting them in parentheses. Parentheses are often the best way of controlling which part of formula are calculated first. And when this formula calculated, the answer is $4.65. So whenever you're doing a complex formula, you'll need to think about the operation to make sure that the formula would give you the correct answer.